This is Fatal Labyrinth on the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. I really didn't know what to make of this game when I first started to play it. I think my initial impressions were, what the hell is this? It starts off quite strange, because when you press the start button for the first time, you end up in this village place thing that you can see here, and you can interact with these people. And then, unless you press the start button again, I mean, you would think that the game has started at this point because you can have conversations, but unless you press the start button again, it didn't appear that you could go anywhere, which was strange. But when you press it again, you're suddenly thrust up into this dungeon, I guess. I suppose gameplay wise, this reminds me an awful lot of a game that I reviewed some time ago on the Commodore 64 called The Sword of Fargol. It certainly has that sort of explore and the dungeon and unveil rooms in the dungeon and pick things up and so on and so forth. Although obviously this is a little bit more technical, and I say a little bit more, it still is very basic, compared to modern day role-playing games. This is a very basic one. This is a more, I guess I would describe this more of a survival type game. Well, it is for me anyway, only in the notion that I die quite frequently, and there doesn't really appear to be... well, I certainly don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. I just go around the dungeons until I end up dead. I mean, I pick up weapons and armour and stuff like that. But eventually you just end up becoming well, in my case, playing the game, I just became overpowered by the creatures that are around there. And some of the creatures are quite strange as well. There's like, further on in the game, there's like a giant snail. Well, I mean, not giant as in colossal giant, just larger than normal sized snails that take an astronomical amount of hits before they die. I think that's quite amusing. And again, I think it's one of those games that in the absence of an instruction manual, you're not really too sure of what you're supposed to be doing or what various things do. But it's strangely compelling. I must admit, I have spent an awful lot of time playing this game, and I really enjoy playing it. There's just something about it. There's like a hook to it. Because you want to level up, because you want to explore more. You just end up playing this far more than you would imagine when you first play it, if that makes any sense. When you first play it, the immediate reaction is to sort of be a bit, I'm not wasting my time with this. But the more you play it, the more you get into it, the more compelling it becomes. The combat's a bit strange because you just sort of walk into the thing you're going to fight. You don't necessarily press any buttons. So that element of it's a bit strange, but again, it works for this type of game. It's one of those games when you look at it, you just think this is not going to work, but when you actually start to play the game and get into it, the elements seem to come together rather well, and it does work. And these magicians are a pain in the arse as well. They're always wanting to make you sleepy and what have you. Yeah, they do drive me mad somewhat. So, I mean, there's not really a lot else to say about this game. It's a good game. It's enjoyable to play. It just doesn't look it visually. It doesn't look anything spectacular. But that again, that's just part of the weirdness of it. It is somewhat of a compelling game. So yeah, that's Fatal Labyrinth on the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. an odd game. Oh, and by the way, just a quick footnote, when you do die, depending on, I don't know whether it's how much gold you have or how far you get into the game, you seem to have more people attending your funeral, which is like an amusing little thing at the end of the game. Like, you see, I've done quite rubbish there and died. There's only one dear old little lady and a crappy rock in the ground. But yeah, stay tuned to my channel for more videos.